George Peabody Wetmore was the 37th governor and a United States Senator from Rhode Island. Early life. George Peabody Wetmore was born in London, England, during a visit of his parents abroad. His father was William Shepherd Wetmore, a wealthy Yankee trader. George Wetmore received his early education at the private schools of Messrs. Reed and Thurston under the Rev. William C. Leverett in Newport, Rhode Island. In 1867 he graduated from Yale College, where he was a member of Skull and Bones. After graduation he studied for 2 years at the Columbia Law School. He received the degree of LL.B. in 1869, and was admitted to the bars of Rhode Island and New York the same year, although he never practiced politics. He had always taken an active interest in politics and in 1880 and 1884 was a presidential elector. He was elected governor of Rhode Island in 1885 and served 2 terms, but was defeated for a 3rd term. He was a member of the commission that built the new Rhode Island State House at Providence. In 1894 he was elected as a Republican to the United States Senate, receiving the unanimous vote of the General Assembly and Senate, House, and Joint Convention. He was re-elected in 1900 and served from March 4, 1895 to March 3, 1907. In 1907, he was challenged for his seat by another Republican, industrialist Samuel P. Colt. The three-way contest between Wetmore, Colt and Democrat Robert Hale Ives Goddard resulted in months of deadlocked ballots and a vacant seat in Rhode Island's delegation to the 60th Congress beginning on March 4, 1907. Eventually Colt withdrew, and Wetmore returned to the Senate on January 22, 1908 and served until March 3, 1913. Colt's brother, LeBaron B. Colt, was elected to succeed Wetmore upon Wetmore's retirement from the Senate. In the Senate, Wetmore was, first, chairman of the Committee on Manufactures, and then chairman of the Joint Committee on the Library for 16 years. He was also a member of the Appropriations, District of Columbia, Naval Affairs, Public Buildings and Grounds, and other committees. His last term in the Senate ended March 4, 1913. He had a deep interest in the building up of the Navy and the development of the naval base in Narragansett Bay. He served as chairman of the Joint Commission appointed by Congress to prepare plans for the completion of the United States Capitol in Washington, was chairman of the first Lincoln Memorial Commission and a member of the commission that erected the National Lincoln Memorial in Washington, and was a member of the Grant Memorial Commission, as well as many others for the erection of statues and memorials. He was greatly interested in the improvement and development of Washington and the District of Columbia on a definite artistic plan, and was particularly identified with the legislation creating the National Commission of Fine Arts. Cultural work. In private life, Mr. Wetmore was for many years associated with various organizations for promoting the fine arts. He was one of the organizers of the Metropolitan Opera in New York and a member of the committee in charge of the construction of the Metropolitan Opera House. He was a trustee of the Peabody Museum of Natural History at Yale and of the Peabody Education Fund. In 1888 he was nominated as a Fellow of the University, but declined to have his name considered. He was one of the founders of the Jockey Club, vice president of the National Horse Show Association of America, and a director of other organizations for improving the breeding of horses. At his home in Newport he was a trustee of the Redwood Library and Athenaeum, president and a trustee of the Newport Hospital, and president of the Newport Reading Room and the Newport Casino. In 1877 he was admitted as a member of the Massachusetts Society of the Cincinnati Family and legacy. He was married December 22, 1869, in New York City, to Edith Malvina Kettletes. Her father, Eugene Kettletes, had been a member of the Yale College class of 1822, but left before graduation, and was graduated at Union College in 1822. Yale gave him the honorary degree of M.A. in 1870. Mrs. Wetmore's grandfather, Philip Doddridge Kettletes, was Yale 1792. Her great-grandfather, Rev. Abraham Kettletes, graduated at Yale in 1752 and was admitted to the M.A. degree at Yale and Princeton University in 1755, and her great-great-grandfather, William Smith, was Yale 1719. Edith Kettletes Wetmore's brother was Brevet Lieutenant Colonel Henry Kettletes, who served in the American Civil War as a captain in the 15th United States Infantry. He received 2 brevets for gallantry in action. His sword is preserved and on display at the Château-sur-Mer mansion. Mr. and Mrs. Wetmore had 4 children: Edith Malvina Kettletes, Maud Alice Kettletes, William Shepherd Kettletes, and Rogers Pigman Darby Kettletes. Mr. Wetmore died September 11, 1921, in Boston. His funeral was held at Trinity Church in Newport, and he was buried in Newport's Island Cemetery. George Wetmore's estate in Newport, Rhode Island, Château-sur-Mer, is today owned by the Preservation Society of Newport County and is open for tours during the summer. It is considered one of the best surviving examples of a Victorian mansion. Wetmore was also a litigant in the Supreme Court of the United States decision, George Peabody Wetmore v. Tennessee Copper Company, 218 U.S. 369.